Okay, we live.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Hi, darling.
Hi, Sophie.
All right, Abby, we had a question last week, right?
Yeah, we did.
We asked for a topic to talk about, and Alan said, what's the difference between?
He said a possible topic, the paradox between accepting oneself as one and also being committed to growing and developing oneself.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're going to weave that inside of the conversation today, okay?
beautiful.
So
Perfect.
just read it one more time.
Sure. So Alan says, the paradox between accepting oneself as one and also being committed to growing and developing oneself. Accepting oneself as one. It says as one is, but I think that might be an accident. As one
No,
is.
as one is.
Oh, I see. I'm
Accepting
so
yourself
sorry,
just the way
everyone.
you are and just the way you're not, and growing and developing yourself, right?
Yep,
So
that's right.
I was actually, it's actually great, right? So there
Yeah,
is a
that's beautiful.
lot of things happening, right, in the world, more and more. Natural disaster, the law in the, what's the name of the law in the US that is,
Yeah, repealing the Roe v. Wade decision. Yep.
right? Wars, everybody knows. I'm not going to give you a political list of everything that is not working, but there is a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a
Yes.
lot of worry, a lot of concerns.
Yes.
And
Lots.
and then just to go back to what Alan was saying, there is always this need or this desire, this yearning to elevate oneself to attain peace, right?
Yes.
But that's the paradox of it, because to attain peace, you have to give up trying to change and fix yourself.
Yes.
Right? But
Yes.
so it seems like, okay, if I accept myself just the way I am and just the way I'm not, how can I, then I'll be okay with myself, but how can I elevate? No, that's the
Right.
elevation itself, right?
Oh,
So
okay. Yes.
that's the elevation itself. That the work on giving up everything is to actually accept everything. So let me just expand on that, right?
Yes,
Because
please.
I'm reading the Das Teaching, which I can never pronounce, right? And it's really so profound. If you haven't read it, I really highly recommend it, right? So my conversation today is totally inspired by it, and Byron Katie and all those people, Eckhart Tolle. So as you know, I'm a spiritual shopper. I don't have one original thought, but I'm just giving it back to you, having done my little mix up in it, okay? So we need to accept that the natural state of human being is peace. The natural condition for a human being is peace. And uh, my evidence for it is that when we peaceful, everything works really well in our body, right? We sleep well, our hormones work, we don't go to addictions. The state of peacefulness is a big yearning for all of us, right? We'll do a
Yes.
lot to have that. So it seems to be the natural condition, right? The peacefulness that gives access to joy. I mean, that's what we all want, right? So imagine we're born in the natural state of peacefulness. And then very quickly a thought enter your mind. And we believe it.
Okay, that's the beginning.
And then this peace is gone, right? Peace is gone. And then we identify with our thoughts, our opinions, our evaluation, and we get into a story, what we call a story. I think Byron Katie calls it the dream state. Right? That's the illusion the Buddha was talking about. Because look, I'm just so, I just wish I hope people get it. There is no past, right? The past only exists in your conversation about it. There is not a place called the past
Right.
you're going to get to. It's gone, 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 gone. So if the past is still with you, it's because you're talking about it to yourself in thoughts or
Right.
to others, right? And there is no future. there is not a place to get to called the future, right? The future exists now in a conversation about the future. So those conversations about the past and those conversations about the future, that's what we call stories.
Right. Okay. Yes.
They are stories. They're not real. So if you disappear the stories,
Wow.
the past disappears, the future disappears, you have nothing to worry about, nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to be, and all is good.
Okay. Okay, I get it conceptually. Like I hear you saying it, I'm like, that makes sense. So here's my question, which is very similar to Alan's question, which is in that space. Okay, now I'm going in circles. Okay, so in that space of awareness that the past is gone and the future does not exist, and here you are in the present moment, and life is happening in the present moment, right? And you have something that's ongoing in your life.
What?
Like, okay, for example, an issue with your children or an issue in your marriage or
but
something
it's not
appears...
ongoing. It's present moment by present moment. We're making it a story.
Okay, so that's my question. So we make this whole thing this story, right?
Yeah.
But if we're approaching life moment by moment, how do we know when to make a change or when to accept what
you
is?
Don't.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. What do you mean when to accept what is? What other option do you have other than accepting what is? Because what is.
Okay.
The
Okay, right. Okay.
is when you do not accept what is.
Okay.
What is, right?
Right.
So you accept it or you don't accept it, it still is.
Right. Okay.
I mean, okay. That's the absurdity, right?
Okay.
How do I know when to make a choice? You don't make choices anyway. You don't make decisions. In your story, right. You have some control. Do you have any control right now? Just remove every single story about everything. What's left?
Like actually nothing. If I just sit in that space, just us here.
Yeah. It's silence,
even
right?
That is on the verge of being a story too. But yes.
It's like there is nothing.
Yeah.
And that is terrifying for all of us. In the dark teaching, they call it darkness. Darkness is benevolent. It is always, but we make up a story about darkness, that nothingness, right? I actually had an experience of that space. It really is dark.
Wow.
There is nothing. There is not even colors. There is nothing. I remember being with that master and I was in that space. I said, there is nothing. He said, no. I said, not even colors. No. I said, there is really nothing. I remember I was about 38 or something.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
But with that story, you're in the ever-knowing nothingness, silence. And then we go into a story because we make up a whole story about the darkness. We don't.
I was just going to say we're even making
story.
Stories with the darkness. Yeah.
Right. So we name everything. And the moment you name something, you name not that thing.
Right.
And there is the story of the world.
Wow.
Peace is gone. You created separation.
Oh. So as soon as you name it or as soon as you create its opposite, and then you have a whole
create
world.
Not that. Yeah.
Oh. Right. Create not that. I see the difference.
But separate things that we create, a tree and not a tree. Tree and not tree, right? That's the example that Byron Katie gives. Tree, the moment you say this is a tree, you create not tree.
Right. Yes.
It cannot be real
Wow.
because it's in language. We say it.
Wow.
We created separation.
That's
If
really
I
powerful.
create I create you, separation. But it's not true.
Hmm.
It's not real. I know. And then you get profoundly related to reality. There is nothing.
Hmm.
And everything is a story. So you don't even need to work on yourself. Do you see? Nothing
Wow.
can threaten nothing because nothing is separate.
Oh.
There is no place to get to. Just have to give up the stories. It's all stories, thoughts, and mind and imagination. I mean, whoa.
Oh. It really brings you to a space of quiet. Like,
Yeah. And then we say, this is nice, this is not nice, this is beautiful, this is not beautiful. I mean, really? Really? We say, this is good, this is bad. Really? No, it just is. You cannot believe your stories.
hmm.
I mean, if you want to be peaceful,
Right. Yeah.
right? There is nothing to believe in.
Hmm.
If you believe anything, you try to gather evidence through language.
Hmm.
And, we always reap what we sow, right? The world we have right now is the world we sow.
Right.
Yeah. I know it's difficult for people because we have so much evidence, but there is no good and bad people. There is people that are profoundly related to what is,
Hmm.
with no stories. And those people know peace. And there is people that are profoundly identified with their stories.
Hmm.
And those people suffer and act violently, detrimentally to the other people, to nature, to the world, to everything. But there is no good and bad.
Hmm.
There is no separation. When you are in survival, you protect yourself, you shut down, the world will occur as hostile to you, dangerous. When you love what is, I love with reality what is, then you become the world.
Hmm.
But the world is a mirror image of
Hmm.
ourselves.
Oh my.
And it's so is it self development to inquire into those things? No, because you're not trying to fix and change yourself. You are practicing awareness. Just awareness. Is that true? What I'm thinking, is there I believe it. Is there anything to believe in? No. Zero. There is nothing to believe. And that is scary for people because then you're left with nothing.
Hmm.
So we turn this nothingness into a monster that we fill with stories.
Yes.
Do you see the vicious circle
Yeah, I do.
of the illusion of the ego?
It leaves me kind of speechless because despite, how many times we've talked about this in other facets, speaking about it in this circular way, I'm really seeing it. It's really It really is quite a vicious. And at any point in that cycle, like at any little teeny tiny point in that cycle, you can get hooked.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, but there is really no way to know what's good or bad.
Yeah.
There is no way.
Hmm.
If something occurs as really bad now, you never know what it will turn out in 15 years or 2 years. Or
That's very true. That's very true.
I have a friend, her mother got diagnosed with cancer, and within 2 days, she went to her daughter and she said, "My darling, I'm so sorry. I had forgotten myself.
Hmm.
I had forgotten who I really was. This diagnosis is the best thing that could happen. I just remembered."
Oh.
She's free, peaceful, loving, reconnecting with everybody in her life. Who says if it's good or bad? It's just what is.
Hmm. Hmm.
So whatever is happening in the US, right? It's something wants to happen in the US, right?
Yes,
I
that is
mean,
very clear.
it's wow, right? And the US has led the way for years, I mean, for centuries, right?
Yeah.
So it's what is. It's what is. Let's see what will happen. Maybe the US will lead the way in consciousness again, in awakening,
Oh,
getting
that's a
out of the
beautiful
dream
context.
world. Why? Who knows?
That's a beautiful context.
I don't know. I don't believe it, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised by all of you people, because something we know about the US is that you have created a culture where everything is possible.
Mhm.
So, yes, it is violent. Yes, it is intense. Yes, it is everything. But can you imagine if your country in a few years leads the way to a global waking up out of the dream state?
Oh my.
Okay, if that takes the law to be reinstated, who says if it's good or bad? It's just what is. Doesn't mean you don't take action, by the way,
Right.
but you don't make it wrong. You do not know. You don't believe anything. You just check in with yourself. If it's not acceptable with you, if it agitates you, you know your natural state is peace, then take action. But you don't go, you have no idea what is in the mind of those high court, how do you call them? Justice
Supreme
people.
Court.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Supreme Court. You don't know where they come from. You don't know. Don't believe anything. Only you. Only you. Just check in with yourself. If you're agitated, peace is gone, then restore it. Just take action.
Oh, Sophie, that is so beautiful. So the taking actionness happens in the moment. That's why you can't create the story around it. It happens moment to moment.
Well, if you create a whole story that the Supreme Court people are out to enslave the woman in the States, and you know, you're going to lose your power, you're going to create conflicts, you're going to suffer, and your peace is gone.
Right, right.
What is that this law got reinstated, right? All right, if it doesn't work for you, take action.
Right, right.
But in peace, because any conflict, any division goes against your nature. Right? When you have you have a diagnostic of whatever, choose what is. It doesn't mean, yay, I've got cancer, yeah, I've got Alzheimer or whatever. No, it means choose what is. It's what is, then take action.
Right.
You know, I met someone once that had a surgery because he had walked into a plane propeller. Can you believe it? So his face was half chewed up. And he decided to do it with that anesthesia because he wanted to try that theory that when you're profoundly related to what is, even physical pain disappears, because even physical pain is a story.
Oh, I have goosebumps. What happened?
Well, he did. Well, then the surgeon accepted. I mean, it was a whole thing. And from what he said, there was not one noise in the operating theater. And he was just concentrating on the what is of the blade of the scalpel on his skin. And all his focus was on the blade of the scalpel. And it worked, it worked. He had no pain, no pain, no pain. And then a nurse went, oh my God, I can't believe it. He lost his concentration and the pain was horrible.
Oh, wow.
So he went back and the nurse stopped commenting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I would still take a painkiller if I have I don't think I'm at that level yet. I mean, I don't, but I can get it, right? You can have pain without suffering.
Yeah, I get that. I really get that. But I hear that that level of concentration is needed to really just stay.
Oh, yeah, with what is, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what you said reminded me so much of something I heard Adyashanti say in a recording, which was someone was asking him a similar question about like, how do you know when to just accept what is or when to grow? And he said, he kind of laughed and said, it's all sort of part of the process. It's like by the end of the process, you realize you didn't need the process, but like you kind of do it because it's part of it. And it's the paradox of being in this world that we are in and doing this awareness work is that by the end, you realize you kind of never needed to do anything. But it's part of it. Yes.
The problem with elevating and learning and all that is that you always have the story that you're getting somewhere called enlightenment, right? And that for sure is not going to work.
Yeah.
So you have to redirect.
I have witnessed that in myself.
Find the perfection in the moment. All right, darling.
How beautiful.
Is there any comments or anything?
That's a great question. This was I really got a lot out of this call. Thank you, Sophie. Let's see what else is here. Actually, I think I have it up over here. I don't see any comments underneath from my end, but as usual, if anyone has any, you're welcome to leave them and we'll respond next time.
All right. And then, so we're going to do the calls in July, right? Are you free in July, Abby?
Yes.
During the Monday call, but in August, we will stop and then we'll pick it up again in September. Okay. And I wanted to tell everybody, if you are subscribed to our mailing list, you will receive a gift for the summer. As many of you go on vacation or slow down a little bit or whatever, Abby and I decided to gift you the self-guided ego deconstruction to gift you for a very low price. So I think we said $35, right?
Yes.
Instead of nearly $400 or something.
Yes.
So this is valid for July and August. So don't miss the opportunity. You can gift yourself and watch it and listen to it while you're on the beach or at the pool.
Oh, that's so lovely. Yes. Yeah. Look out for it in your email.
But you have to be in our mailing list, right?
Yes. So if anyone is watching and you're not in our mailing list, just comment underneath and I'll get you signed up to our mailing list.
But they can go to sophiemclean.com or something, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. You can also go to sophiemclean.com and you'll see there's a little box that pops up where you can put your email.
All right. All right. Darling, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you,
it's really great. All right. Lots of love.
Bye, everyone. Love you, Sophie.
Love you too.